take it down?
Izzy did. Izzy figured it out and
Okay.
took it down for her.
Thank
But she already got caught.
I love that hill.
kind of battled this microphone, so I'm going to try to do better today. Welcome, students, staff, family, and friends of Mrs. LaTurner. We are here today. They're giving me the motion. I'm trying. We are here today to celebrate Mrs. LaTurner's retirement. Mrs. LaTurner has been working for the interlocal for Galena for 34 years. She has seen so much change in education. She has seen so much change over these years. Standardized testing, some of these she might want to say boo to. New strategies to help academic needs, more extracurricular activities, integrated libraries, parent involvement, helping students with social emotional needs, vocational offerings, dual credit, Common Core, methods of teaching, the internet, technology, structured literacy, and so many more. The structured literacies we're in the middle of that right now. Mrs. LaTurner has jumped on each and every one of these to learn everything she can, every aspect of education to help her students. Her work ethic is unmatched in wanting to provide the best education possible to each student who walks through those doors in her classroom. As her family is sitting here, they're almost all in the first couple of rows, I want to say thank you for sharing her with us, for Liberty, and all the students throughout these years. Each of her children and grandchildren know the countless hours she spends outside of contracted time to prepare lessons, plan for events, make her hallway and room look so fantastic each and every year. I believe, they're pointing at themselves, the grandchildren and children, yes, they have been out there in that hallway also, helping, and in those rooms also, grandchildren included. Yes. I love that. Her sacrifices are well noted and such a wonderful career. Her commitment and dedication to her students is only second to her wonderful family. You are her pride and joy. We are going to hear from Chase and Autumn and Amber today, and I can't wait because I know how much Mrs. LaTurner has modeled to be the best that you can be, to love education, and they have learned so much. And I'm so proud of them. I had each and every one of them, so I'm proud of them also. Mrs. LaTurner and I have been through many of these challenges together in her career, working mostly here at Liberty. I have some great memories, so I thought I'd share a few. I have so many, I would never be able to share them all. I hope she doesn't mind. I've got a couple of the great ones that we still laugh about today. One of them is referring to her tagline, Liberty's tallest teacher. So if you don't know that, isn't that awesome? This is the line or quote underneath every email is her name, and then it says Liberty's tallest teacher. Mr. Grother is worried about who that's going to be next year, Mrs. LaTurner. I believe we're all kind of the same height after that. We're going to figure that out. This is one story that kind of leads me to being Liberty's tallest teacher. And let's see how much she remembers of this, because when I start telling the story, Chase will remember, but when I start telling the story, we'll see. Mrs. LaTurner was on recess duty on that north playground. This is not the funny part. This is not the funny part. She was hit in the head by a kickball really hard. She was a little dazed, but you know, she's got that spirit, like no one's going to tell her that she's her. So she was a little dazed, but she made it into the office. We were concerned, Susan and I, Susan Ezel's out there with us, one of our attorneys, we were a little concerned, so we kept giving each other the eye. She seemed like she was okay, but she kept telling us it sting. Well, of course, that if you've ever been hit by a kickball, which I bet all 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders have been hit by a kickball on the face at some point in time, it does sting. This just seemed like a little more. As we sat her down and got an ice pack, and we talked and visited about all kinds of things, her memory was good. She sounded good, but she just wasn't feeling right. I really had to convince her that she needed to go get checked out. She reluctantly agreed, and we called Chase and let him know so he could meet us over there. She was all checked out, and the conclusion was she had a concussion. It hit that hard and that fiercely. We decided I would take her back home so Chase could go get her prescriptions before we left Joplin. And with a concussion, you get a little wobbly. Now, she hadn't displayed any of those signs. I'm going off my paper now because I'll get myself lost. She hadn't demonstrated any of those signs. But just in case, I was kind of trying to hurry around her and kind of guide her, and she didn't like that. She didn't like that. So we got to her house, and I pulled up there in her driveway in that rocked area, and I was trying to hurry around and get to her, and all of a sudden she seemed much taller than I remembered. And she did have a little bit of a heel. She was just so much taller, and I was trying to kind of work around, and I looked at her, and the next thing I knew, she wobbled. Just enough, and I still don't know if it was the concussion or her determination to do it by herself, or the little line rock in the driveway, but she took us both down to the ground. So we're laying there, and then I am stunned enough that I just say, "Are you okay?" Silence. "Yeah, are you okay?" "Yeah." And we started laughing. If that would have been recorded with Cindy, her neighbor, I kept thinking, she's going to think, I don't know what. She looks out that window. Because we laid there on the ground laughing and laughing and laughing. And isn't it great to be able to laugh with a friend and just giggle over silliness all the way around? Such a great memory. I hope she remembers that since she had a concussion. I often talk to her, and this is just one of those things. I often talk to her about putting her in a bubble in anything that we do, because I don't want her hurt. Mr. Grother also reminded me that he will now become the fastest walker on campus. Mrs. LaTurner walks with purpose, and she is fast. I know if we had automatic doors here, she would have to pause, because there's no way she would go right through that glass because she walks so fast. In all seriousness, I love that she walks with purpose. You can see her working out early every morning. If you want to get up at 5 a.m., she's out there walking on the track or working out somewhere, and she's still here on campus at 5 every day, working at TLC, all of the hours in between teaching her students. So I just admire that so much. She is like the Energizer Bunny. So there's so many stories in between, and I have a wrap-up story, but I wanted to just say a few quotes, and whether it's the students, staff, or family members, when I say some of these, some of them you're going to kind of giggle and say, yeah, that's right. Others of them you're going to be in awe. And then others of them you might say, oh my goodness, who's going to do that? Because she's leaving a hole that cannot be filled. Okay? So first of all, and the grandkids can join me in this awe, bulletin boards. My goodness, if you haven't seen her bulletin boards, you can go on Facebook. I post them every year. They are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Christmas activities. We're all like, who's going to do that? Minute to win a games. Who's going to do that? Okay, the ugly sweater contest. She is the queen. She is the queen. The planning. Now, I can't do this either, but the glare. Let's see how I can do it. Something like that. You know you're in trouble when you get the glare. The ideas that she has. TLZ. She's, when you think of the program, you think of Mrs. LaTurner. Technology. Not always her friend. Her laugh. Her stylish clothes and jewelry. I admire them every day. Putting students first. Constantly individualizing for students. Some of them are not even her students. She helps us with that. The list, the ongoing list and post-it notes, if you're a parent or pastor, you can have that. Now, this would only be for staff members unless she's told you. I'll put it like this, Mrs. LaTurner. Bouncing balls, but the phone was saved. It's a terrible, funny video. We did get that on video. And my quote for her constantly is, hey, before we start this, I need to put you in a bubble. So my last story is about the connection she makes with her students. She constantly gives hugs, encourages students and staff every day. She's in that hallway in the morning and in the afternoon and welcomes us with Mr. Grother's not here, but Mr. Grother and Mrs. LaTurner, Mrs. Haney, and several of us are out there greeting our students. If I would have had this on video, I know it would have went viral. At the time, it was just, it's just precious. So during COVID, we had a reverse, I'm not going to go off my notes because I might get lost. We had a reverse parade, which is where the students and their families came through, and us as staff members are stationary. So we had set up the gym to get everything, And the staff has put their cars and decorated their cars around the perimeter so as not to get too close. But we still wanted to say hi, wave at them. And I do have this on video, this part of it. I have my staff members, and Tina's one of them. And she is blowing kisses, waving, giving air hugs, just everything, hollering out to students. And as that line is moving, we have kids hanging out of car windows. They're standing up in the sunroofs, and that's about as close as we could get to each other. But it was so overwhelmingly sweet. And I look at some of my staff members are here that have retired, and you remember that, right? This is why I was, yeah, this is there we go. So as we're doing that, and the lines are coming through, and the teachers are lined up, one of Mrs. LaTurner's students jumps out of a running car, arms outstretched. That little man needed her hug, her encouragement, and her love that she gives out each and every day. She wanted to make sure that they knew that he was going to be okay. This is going to be okay. It was scary times, but it's going to be okay. But running and jumping out of a car would show you that compassion that she has that a student gave back to her. Let me see. I had to go back to my notes because I kind of stopped. That was one of my stories. But as the season comes to a close at Liberty, we are so thankful for all the things mentioned above and more, and many more stories to come. I have so many stories to tell again that I'll keep reminding her and texting her every once in a while. The impact you've made on our students and our staff will last a lifetime. Don't forget, I do know where you live. And I have a number. I will have lots of questions. It's been my honor to serve alongside you. I know our friendship will last beyond these walls, but I will miss you dearly.
Remember you told me I was going to go first, so that way. Okay. Try not to trip.
Well, Mrs. New, that was very nice, and I appreciate you letting everyone know how clumsy I am. It's an ongoing saga every year, but hopefully, I'll be a little better as I age. I doubt it, but first of all, I would like to thank God for the blessing me with a 44-year career in special education. I was a special education parent for 10 years, and then a special education teacher for 34 years. So 41 of the 44 years, I worked right here. And I absolutely cherished my time working in my hometown with the Lena students, because those were the ones that I really was passionate about teaching. I want to thank the Liberty teachers, paras, principals, counselors, and superintendent, which I think there were 5 of those, that I was privileged to work under and with across the years. I'd like to thank Dr. Moeller for giving 100% support of our special education students by having shirts made for Special Olympics, coming to cheer our students on at their events, and providing an ice cream stop after our track meet. Some of those kids had never been to an ice cream shop. They absolutely loved it. Thank you to my current principal, Susan New, for all the hard work of this ceremony, support, and friendship. I'd also like to thank all my guests that are here. It means the world to me that you have made it come. I'd like to take a moment to specifically talk about special education paras. Paras are absolutely the backbone of special education. If I were to describe them in military terms, the paras are the academic soldiers who are literally in the trenches alongside their students. Special education paras and students work as a team to achieve a goal, both to progress academically, emotionally, and mentally. They make decisions, I can't even tell you, 100 times a day probably. These decisions they're calculating whether the student needs to have some one-on-one encouragement, some time away from the classroom so they can talk out a situation. they may decide that they just need a quiet place to work. Our special education pairs are the heroes of Liberty. I'm proud to say I've worked with some of the best paraprofessionals anywhere over the years. So would all of the special education from past to present stand? And title pairs, you are no less heroes in our building. Your jobs are uniquely much the same as the special education pairs. So title pairs, special education pairs, will you please stand up? Let's give them a big hand. As you know, you probably know, teachers are definitely the foundation of education. Without teachers, there would be no other professions. Would all of the teachers, past and present, working now, please stand up because I want to give you some applause. First grade, he brought his work home and I did it for him because I just wanted to be at school. They didn't have kindergarten back then, so I just did my brother's school. I was up, but in this dream I was up front teaching. And that dream became a dream, my dream, to become a teacher. Little did I know the way it would happen. Up, I heard that there was a summer school teacher's aide job open at Liberty. I mean, I really didn't know what they did because we didn't have pairs when I was in school or aides. So I thought, well, I'll apply for that job, see what happens. Well, they hired me. I was really surprised by that, but they hired me. So I got to work with Willa June Murray. Absolutely loved her as a teacher. I loved the summer school kids, the teacher I worked with, and the job itself. The summer school program ended, and very unexpectedly, I might add, the school called and asked to interview me for a special education, it's not what's called teacher's aide, but paraprofessional job. I really had no idea what that was. But I thought, well, we'll interview. So I got the job. So I worked under two fantastic teachers, Carol Slack and Sue Drennan, women that became my mentors. I fell in love with the special education students who worked for 10 years as a parent. During that time, Carol and Sue became trusted friends, and they encouraged me to get my degree and be a teacher. So, because of their support, that's the only reason I did that, I began taking JUCO college classes in the evening so I could continue work. I worked as a parent. I also rode a special education bus to take students to Columbus for classes. So I finished that 2 years and had to finish my degree at the big college, PSU. But I really didn't have a very good car to drive back and forth. I didn't really know how I was going to go to Pittsburgh to go to college, but I went ahead and signed up for those courses because I was determined I was going. But not having a good car was a really roadblock in getting my career. You may know what a roadblock is. That's something they throw up in the middle of the road and you cannot go around it. You can't go forward. You either need to find a different way or quit and go home. Well, guys, when you get older, you're all going to have roadblocks in your future and you'll have to make one of these decisions. Are you going to keep going forward by finding a different way and still get your goal, or are you just going to quit trying? Well, I just kept moving forward and thought, maybe I'll find a way. I'm going to college. In the spring, I got a call from the interlocal telling me that my bus route I'd been riding to Columbus for the whole time I've been working was going to be changing to go to Pittsburgh in the fall. The exact time I needed a ride to college. They asked if I'd like to ride that bus. Yes, I would. Now I had a ride to college. I thought, how did this happen? Well, about that time, God gave me a poke in my heart. Not a real poke. And in my heart, he said, I have plans for you, so of course I'm going to get you a ride. Duh. So I started college 10 years later than anyone else did because, well, I had to be a mama for a while. So I was 10 years older than all those 18-year-olds going to college, but I wouldn't trade, being a mom for anything. It was the best job I ever had besides being a grandma. But I am pretty darn sure that I was the only PSU student riding a short yellow school bus to college. The reason I knew that is the way those college students, young, I might add, would look at me as I got off that bus. I didn't care. I was ecstatic. My two daughters are in grade school and lots of sports when I started college. So besides going to college, I had my bus job, and I worked as a para in the middle school the 2 days I wasn't going to college. And on weekends, I worked as a hello Walmart greeter. I continued my push forward with perseverance and passed all my classes. I graduated with honors and went on to get my master's degree where I earned a 4.0. I had to work very hard and to do that, but I did. Okay, I have a little illustration for you today. Oh, thank goodness I found that rope in my raincoat in the car. Thought I lost it. Okay. Can anybody tell me what that is? It's a rope. Now, it's a normal rope. I cut it, and I put this little red piece of tape on it. But if I stretch this rope out and pretend like it goes from that end to that end, it goes on forever and ever. Imagine this is your lifeline. This is and this red part is where you were born and where you are right now in school. Have you lived very long considering this lifeline? No, you haven't. So, if your life is long, which I pray it is, you could live from 80 to 100 years. Every part of your life, every part of this lifeline is important. It is so important. Your life is important. School is important. Let's pretend like you're 16. You're about right here. You really want to get a good job, but guess what? You were bored in school. You didn't want to work hard. You didn't care. You didn't want to learn because you don't care. You don't want to take responsibility for your own learning. How long do you think if you even bothered to get a job that you would last at a job? Not very long. Because everything that you learn in school today will help you as an adult. It will help you get that job. It will help you be able to make a great salary and have a family and pay for college for all those kids. And boy, do we have kids in my family. So you have to stop at that point and say, you're going to have to make a decision. Are you going to move forward? Or are you going to try to go find a way around it? Or are you just going to quit? Everything you learn right now in school, you need to learn so you will be successful. Please know that your future can and will be great if you focus on your learning.
If you're interested in playing basketball next year, you should go to the new gym at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I don't think that was for you guys. I think it was for high school. Oh, darn it. You know what? You do have a job right now. You have one job in your life, and that's to go to school. You may have to do hard things. I had to do hard things. You may have to come to school every day. I have to come to school every day. You have to be respectful to everyone, because everyone in this school is important. They're important to the teachers. They're important to God. They should be important to you. And guess what? If you know somebody that is feeling not included or not important, be a champion to them. You can do it. The true sign of a leader that will go far in life is how you treat others. Treat others well. If I let my roadblocks stop me, not allow me to move forward, I'd be stuck back here not moving forward in my best life. But here I am, standing in front of you today, having had the best 44-year career in education that I ever could have imagined. Roadblocks became my motivation to overcome and chase my dreams. You can achieve your dreams. Believe in yourself. Work hard to catch your dream. Just remember this. You don't remember anything else besides this string and what I say right now. Remember it. God loves you, and He wants the very best life for you. And I do too. Thank you.
I'm not the best at speaking, so I kept it pretty short here, but my mother is an inspiration to my sisters and I, our families, and to many others here in this room and in this community. She's a hard-working and dedicated teacher who always puts her students first. She's always showed up to work early, which unfortunately for me meant I did too until I could drive. So show up an hour, hour and a half, before school sometimes, and I would just lay on her floor and go back to sleep. As a kid, I wanted to be asleep, but she'd be there, put in the hours before she even had students walk to her door. That's just how dedicated and committed she was. Her commitment to helping her students learn and grow is truly admirable. She's been an incredible role model and mentor to our family and many kids over the years. I'm so excited for you and can't wait to make new memories with you in this next part of your life. Congratulations on your retirement, and thank you for all you've done for this school and for this community. I love you.
Hello? Thank you for coming today to honor my mom and her retirement to celebrate her 34 years of dedication to teaching. My sister and I had the privilege to witness my mom earn her teaching degree while we were in elementary school. Just a side note, my brother was not born yet. I think the qualities my mom exuded, her character on a personal level, helped her excel in her professional career during her extremely busy time of her life. Some of those qualities are perseverance, diligence, and serving others. My mom persevered through many years of challenges, highs, lows, raising us girls, being a wife, at times working 2 jobs,
I know it had to have hurt her to see me struggling and wanting attention. I know it was hard for her to leave us and go to a second job. She was tired. She had to figure out how to fit her homework into her busy schedule. But knowing my mom through these moments, I know she kept telling herself that it would all be worth it. When she got her teaching degree, she wouldn't have to juggle so many different jobs. She kept her eye on the prize. She didn't give up through the hard moments and remembered this was all worth the effort. Little bumps in the road happened, emotions flared. Life did not always go as expected, but she held her head high and she kept going. Professionally, I see my mom flourish in this area as well. In the field of special education, there are a lot of extra demands as a teacher, which include planning, paperwork, meetings, and lesson plans tailored to each student for every subject they have. My mom is quite often at work by 6 a.m. in the morning, making sure she's completing all her latest paperwork that needs to be done, multiple lesson plans, and being prepared for teaching that day. When I call her in the evening, she's most likely still doing paperwork of some sort to make sure each student have the plans they need to succeed. She loves to make time for all the fun activities at school. She never misses a beat to make them top-notch. This summer, she spent weeks preparing those bulletin boards. So when her students arrived, they had a bright, fun, bold welcome every day they came. My mom was diligent in her studies at work and family life. As a child, I really only have good memories while my mom worked and earned her degree. She taught my sister and I how to be dedicated and not miss work or class. Different ways to study until you could ace that test, and during busy seasons of life to still find time for fun. I don't remember her being stressed out or showing that she was stressed out. I really don't remember my mom getting sick, but she did tell me years later that at one point she got very sick. She was so busy and very stressed trying to juggle it all that she lost a good amount of weight. But she kept going. It didn't hold her up. She worked through the illness and didn't take one day off because she could not afford to. I remember her experience of student teaching. She had two different teachers. She was a student teacher for polar opposite experiences. Her first student teacher experience was at Kelsey Norman Elementary School. She had a well-experienced teacher who invested in my mom and her teaching career. I remember meeting this teacher, and she exuded only positive qualities that you could yearn for in a teacher. My mom was exhilarated to learn teaching skills from this mentor and worked hard to exceed her expectations. They carried a professional yet caring and friendly relationship. It was the dream student-teacher experience. Her second student-teacher experience was at Joplin West Central for a special education class. My mom met the teacher one time, in which he completely handed the class over to her without any explanation how to teach in a special education classroom. Thank goodness she had 10 years as a special ed paraprofessional. She did not see her mentor again until the last day of her student teaching as he went on to prepare the music program. This left my mom in a student-teacher position where she taught herself to do something she had never done. She remained diligent and completely dedicated every bit of her time and attention to how to do this. She quickly learned she had one student who only communicated through sign language. My mom did not know sign language. But without a beat, she went to our local library, checked out a book, and learned sign language. She taught herself so she could communicate with this student. I really can't imagine how she did that. She taught herself how to be a special education teacher and never dropped the ball at home. When she got her final report on her performance, she of course aced it. My mom included my sister and I on her journey of earning her degree. While she attended classes at PSU, she took my sister and I along with her for a day on our own separate trips. I was so excited to experience the college student life. I loved riding the school bus with her to her bus stop, getting off, walking to her classes, and seeing what she did every day. I got to sit in on her class, and I remember the professor actually called on me, and I got to answer a question. I remember looking over, and my mom was looking at me, smiling with pride. She took me to the Student Center's cafe and encouraged encouraged me to load up on whatever lunch I wanted. I eagerly dug into the buffet line and enjoyed every moment of that lunch. We went to her work office after classes and sat in and met her boss. I thought it was the coolest day ever. Years later, my mom told me she never actually herself went to that student center in Haiti, and she couldn't really afford it. But she wanted my sister and I to experience all that we could and see what we could do in life if we worked hard and if we didn't give up. I felt so special when my mom spoke with my 5th grade teacher at the time and incorporated an idea that she was using with her students into my classroom. It was a chalkboard simply made from a manila folder, chalkboard tack paper. We brought our own sock to keep our sock in, and we could erase it. But I was so proud. My mom took the time to share that idea and help make it happen in my class. These are just a couple stories of how my mom served my sister and I while she was earning her teaching degree. Professionally, her students strive through the many ways she pours into them as well. I can see with the hours she dedicates on a daily basis that they have a teacher that doesn't give up on making sure she gives the best, plus more than she can give. Every year, she specially prepared Christmas presents for her students a year in advance to make sure they knew how much they love her, she loves them, and respects them. She uses her expertise and knowledge on how to build a child up, teach them in a different way that they personally need, and send them out into the world with confidence. She makes learning fun and engaging in a way that a child needs, and all the while keeping up on that paperwork, and more paperwork. In summary, my mom doesn't know how to do anything without pouring her all into it. If she's going to do something, it will be done excellently. She pours herself into time and attention to detail. She won't stop until it's the best that she can make it. I know it's been her honor and privilege to serve her students over these past 34 years. And they have influenced her to keep giving her best. Thank you for honoring my mom today.
Hello. While my mom might be the tallest teacher in the school district, I might be the shortest. I got my heels on today. I did not get that gene. But the teaching gene was definitely passed on in the family. I think it rubbed off on us so much. I would line my dolls up, I would line my sister up, and I'd do school with those dolls and my sister all the time. And I don't know if it was bossiness that I really liked, or teaching, or both, but it rubbed off. So I am happy to come here and honor my mother. I feel like teaching has always been a part of her, whether she was teaching us at home, or she was going to school as a young mama. It's just who she is. It's all she's done her whole life. She didn't let 2 kids hold her back from going after those dreams. We talked about it already, but I will tell you, my sister and I had the best memories riding on that short yellow bus with my mom. We had good times. And I remember it being so cool. And we did go to Pitt State. And I remember her doing that in such a way, I wanted to go to Pitt State, just like mom. But there was something deeper she also taught us during those yellow bus rides. She taught us that that bus was full of some special kids. Kids who taught us a lot about ourselves and about life, and about how we treat others. She told us never to think we were better than anybody else, to treat everyone with love and respect. And that still sticks with me today, and I hope it does with you too. For years, we watched her go to work. She would go to college. She would come home, fix dinner, then go to our ball games. Never missed a ball game. And all the years we played sports. And then, if we didn't have sports, my mom went back to Walmart to be a door greeter in the nighttime. She worked extra jobs so she could save money for our Christmas gifts every year. It wasn't easy. We didn't have a lot of money. She made what money we had work. And what we didn't have, we relied on food stamps, we relied upon welfare, we relied upon rummage sale clothes. And if it was going to be really special, we could even do a Walmart red light special to get some clothes. We never felt like we lacked one thing because she always made us feel like we had everything we needed. And it worked. She cheered us on with our grades at school and helped us through all the friend dramas. Because if you're a girl, you know what I'm talking about. And I will never, she was really good at making us accountable for our actions, because there was that one time when I was playing basketball and I was going for a ball and a girl tried to take it from me, and her arm just happened to be really close to my mouth and I may have bitten her. I mean, she may have had a mark. I didn't know where it came from. I don't know. I looked at my mom like, did you do that? And she was like, so the ref couldn't prove it, but my mom knew who was guilty. So guess what? After that game, she came up to me and said, you will go apologize to that girl, because I know her. I have taught her before. So after the game, I had to go and apologize to a girl whose arm I'd bitten. That was pretty humbling. She was pretty good about holding us accountable for our actions. One other memory that I might just throw out there is that one time in high school, we had a student-parent exchange day, and so in the afternoon, she was supposed to come and take my spot. I failed to tell her, and I just kind of skipped school. And because she works in the same school district, they called her and said, Tina, where's your daughter? And little by little, she figured it out. And she realized her daughter, her sweet daughter, Amber, skipped school. And the principal was like, Amber's never in trouble. We'll just let her off the hook. We're not going to really do anything. Oh, no. Amber was to have Saturday school on the morning of prom with my mother, who was in charge of Saturday school. She held us accountable for our actions. Life wasn't easy for us, but we learned a lot without having a lot in life. She raised the bar of expectations. She was the first family member to graduate college. And like I said earlier, I don't remember not going to college ever being an option. It was something we aspired to do because our mom did it. And each one of her children attended college and graduated with a degree. She started something pretty amazing. She taught us to chase our dreams even when life got hard. She taught us to never give up. She taught us we were to never judge a book by its cover. She taught us the most powerful words we could ever say, I'm sorry. But more than anything, she taught us to work hard, that hard work always pays off. Thank you, Mom, for not only being a great teacher to your students here at Galena, but also being an amazing mother to your kids at home. I love you.
What an honor. One last little hug. I was slipped this poem by Mrs. Nolan. You also have a copy of it. It's in your card, and you know how sweet she is. So I wanted to read this to you. Okay, my microphone better now? Miss Annalisa and Mrs. Ezel are keeping me on task for not being close to the microphone. So, to everything there is a season, though often life's changes are hard to reason. An educational career of serving special needs takes someone special to accomplish great deeds. So many students have found their way through the constant care day after day. Your classroom was always welcoming and bright as you helped your students find their inner light. Your passion and energy, always a driving force, ensured both kids and staff stay the course, which is the theme that we have been talking about all day. This is only right on text. Words often fall short of gratitude we hold for the students' lives you've helped shape and mold. As you now pursue your next chapter, Never forget all the love and laughter. Thank you for being a part of what makes Liberty a special place. You will not be forgotten, but a new chapter awaits. Love, prayers, and many, many continued adventures.
Thank you.
A little housekeeping, I want to say. So we have lots of friends and family today, and we're going to dismiss, but I see some of you back there also, so I want you to stay. Come greet her up here. We have fresh refreshments and treats as we let our students go. But one more time, thank you.
Stand up front there. I'm gonna try to go up here to get pictures, okay? So we don't want to miss anyone.
For family and friends, if you want to make your way up front, we'd like to at least get one group picture real quick, and then in case we miss anybody, we want to get individuals, but one group picture. If you'll move this way.
We'll try. You guys can't leave. You guys can't leave. You gotta stay here for the picture for your grandma.
You want to come join the picture? Yeah, well. Hi, how are you? Congratulations. Yeah, you were adorable. I know, I saw talent, I know.
Tell Miss Deanne about your shirt.
Did you get to bug out her?
Yeah, a lot.
Where'd Talon go? Here. How many more days? How many more
How are you?
It's just old people on this end.
You know what? I was just saying to every time I come back, I always remember what a special place it is.
Isn't that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, go back farther.
May have to go upstairs.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, yeah, there you are.
Yeah, 50 pounds lighter.
Let's see what we can do.
Okay.
Is everybody paying attention?
Yes.
Should I count?
Yeah.
Okay, so on three. 1, 2, 3. So maybe before or after 3? I don't know.
Seriously.
Okay, so
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Hold your breath.